Welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. Here we'll talk to the leaders in technology, culture, business, and the arts. We'll cover politics, advocacy, motherhood, writing, mental health, and mostly we'll focus on hope. Join Kim B. Davis, author, playwright, radio personality, event consultant, professional speaker on the Kim B. Davis Show.
Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests on, Mr. Eric Harp. He is our certified professional fitness trainer, and he's going to talk to us this evening about getting back into our fitness routines. It is fall. Kids are back in school. So good evening, Mr. Harp. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mrs. Davis. How are you?
I am great. All right, so let's get right to it because, you know, we have to talk current topics before we get started, and there is a lot going on. So as I said at the top of the show, it is fall.
Yes.
Kids are back in school.
Woo, in person.
In person. My kids are in this is their fourth week. We are experiencing our fourth case of COVID in the school.
In the school.
The good
so what are they doing?
Well, we get a notification every time someone is suspected of having COVID or test positive for COVID, and then additional details come later. And so far we've had 2 students and we've had 2 teachers. But
wow.
Yeah. So it's just this uneasiness, this you're feeling as if you're always on edge because you're wondering, you know, when your child's class is going to be impacted. And my oldest son, he got hit first, but thankfully he wasn't close to the person that contracted it. And then my youngest son, he hasn't had any issues as of yet. So we are just keeping everyone in prayer, praying that we can get through the remainder of this year. However, we still have new variants that are popping up. We still have mask mandates that are being debated around the country. People are saying, oh, you shouldn't have to mask up. It's a violation of my freedom. Yet, all the experts from the CDC to all the other health experts and from the WHO, World Health Organization, everybody has said masks help. Make sure you use your hand sanitizer. Make sure that you stay 6 feet, social distance, and stay away from large crowds. As we've seen at football games around the country, people have been close and buddy. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, y'all are real brave because I'm not that brave. Then we have some good news. They have booster shots that are coming out from the vaccines, and Johnson & Johnson has, I believe it's a 90% effective rate for the 2-shot process that they have come up with now as a booster shot. And as we know, last week, booster shots were approved for everyone over the age of 65. So if you're over the age of 65, they are encouraging you to get a booster shot. Then, because again, we have so much going on in the world, we have a continuing border crisis. And I say continuing because people are saying, oh, we have a border crisis. I'm like, we've had a border crisis for years. It's just changing the tenor and tone of what we see. We originally, last year and years past, have seen kids in cages, people in cages, kids getting adopted out, never finding their families, and families literally being torn apart. And we saw that the Trump administration wanted to use that as a penalty for discouraging people to come. However, the hope and the opportunities and the freedoms that America portray were just too alluring and too tempting for many people to say, look, where I'm from, it is disastrous. There are all these terrible things happening. And I mean, we can go down the list from natural disasters to assassinations to
drug cartels,
sex trafficking, you know, having to work in criminal enterprises. all these things, even just down to the plain old economics. I can't find a job where I am. Everybody's poor. In America, I see glittering cities. People are doing well. They promise the American dream. I want that. So guess what? I'm going to America. So we see Haitians, people who are fleeing from an island that was just ravaged by another earthquake. And I don't think they got over the last earthquake they had, which was a major one.
But they just also had their president assassinated.
That's correct. They had a president assassinated. They've had hurricanes. They've literally had a disaster one after another. And here you have people who are claiming to file asylum, and they are being whipped with the reins of the immigration officers' horses while they're on horseback. Now I'm going to tell you, because you know I'm an author, and so one of the things I saw two things. I saw something that looked like what you would have seen in a history book out of a plantation, but I also saw a scene from Planet of the Apes. And I don't know if you remember Planet of the Apes, where the apes were on horseback and they were whipping the people. And I said, either one is a bad image, whichever way you decide to go.
I'm smiling because you're correct. Yes.
Exactly. And then lastly, because it's so much, we have a group of people who travel from Texas to New York to go, I guess, and have an Italian dinner. And they went to this restaurant because in New York, from what I understand, you have to have your COVID vaccination card everywhere you go to be able to enter establishments. These ladies had their card. I guess some gentlemen showed up who were coming with them. One of them, or maybe a couple of them, did not have their card or wasn't vaccinated. I'm not quite sure. But the ladies came out, I guess, to meet the gentleman, and there was a question of if he could come in or they could come in because they did not have their identification. And the hostess turned them all away. And now it has turned into an issue of, was this about race or was this about COVID and not having the proper identification? Because as she said, she felt as if they all had fake ID cards. The question that I pose to you, Mr. Harp, how do we tell if a card is real? Because the card that I have is essentially that. It is it's not even plastic, it's paper. It's one of these paper cards. Okay. It has the information on it. They put my name on it and put the dates down, and that's it. It just shows you where I got my shot from.
Okay, well, you're a little bit better than me because I have a card as well. Little cardboard card, little paper cardboard card with the date written on the type of vaccine and the date. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't write anything on it. So the person who wrote on it didn't write my name or address on it. Mm-mm. And again, I never wrote anything on it. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's my stupidity for not really looking at it and checking to see if all the information that's on it that should be on it. Okay. I just know I have a vaccination card. Mm-hmm. I tried to go into Canada, leaving the country. Uh-oh. Right. Got all my paperwork together with my vaccination card. And they take it all, go into an office, and they're gone for almost 30 minutes. And they come back with smiles on their faces. I'm sorry. It looks like somebody's been vaccinated, but it doesn't say who was vaccinated. Oh. So they never wrote any of my information on my vaccination card. Wow. Right. Wow. I never looked. Mm. I felt stupid. I felt stupid, one, because I knew I never looked. For two, I didn't know that I was supposed to write on it at all. Mm-hmm. So I filled out the appropriate spots and I put it into, I didn't laminate it, but I put it into a plastic case. Okay. I figure now this thing is going to have to be used. It's going to have to, I might as well get it laminated.
Well,
But
they
again,
said don't laminate it. They said
no, I'm not going to laminate it because in fact, that leads into the next thing. Pretty soon there may be booster shots for whomever. For those who had the Pfizer and the Moderna, this will be a third shot.
Right.
For those who had the Johnson & Johnson, in which you are speaking of, the booster shots have been approved for certain ages over 65 and certain medical conditions told to stay away from for certain medical conditions. Hasn't reached my age group at the moment, but for the Johnson & Johnson, it'll be a second shot. And from what the current information is that it was against the Delta variant, about 81%, about 81% effective or efficacy rate. Yeah. But with the second shot or with the booster shot, that is up to about 94% efficacy. So those numbers sound good, and for whatever variant may come next. And then what it sounds like projecting into the future is the same thing as a flu shot that varies every year or varies every flu season. Hopefully this wouldn't be like that. Knowing a little bit more of what going through this makes the flu seem that much more scary. Why people are getting variation now. However, we'll see how the variant or how the efficacy and the information continues to come out from the FDA and the CDC.
So tell me what your thoughts are when you saw the pictures on the border with the Haitian immigrants. And the
drone picture.
Yes.
The picture with the drone. Okay, now it's a two-way street because you listen to certain parts of the media and they want to scare you about all of the people that are crossing the border. But to see so many people in one space underneath a bridge or a bypass, underneath a freeway bypass, that the government has turned into a holding station. This is not just this is just not here, come congregate.
Right.
This is a little more organized, but that just goes to show the depth of how many people are there. And the resiliency and the patience of the people that are waiting.
Right.
The need for our system to make changes in order to make our policies work. These many people that are coming in, listen, this America has been a beacon for many, many years and should not be surprised that everybody would want to come here. We brag about it, and then the magic we, turn around and then say, don't come.
Right.
We love it here, but you can't come. And how great it is to be here, but not for you. We like, come home, but not you. Remember that old commercial where it says that beautiful deep voice, come home to Jamaica.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not from Jamaica, but you be like, yo, I want to go visit.
Exactly.
So people see commercials of come to America. And of course they want to come. They see all of the things that may be going on here. And then they can't come.
Exactly.
So That's just one. That's just one. And I think that what we really need in America, we definitely need to change our immigration policies. We definitely need to change our immigration policies. But what we need to do is come from an angle of love, like we say we do, and not from an angle of, I don't want you brown people here, and oops, not you, because you're the drug dealer who knows the drug dealer who's connected to a cartel. Aren't you? Because they won't know. Right. It's like, you look like you're connected to some cartel. You look like, and there are horrible people out there, but we can't make every person who's trying to come to America that horrible person.
Exactly.
And we're doing it with the Afghan refugees. We're doing it with these Mexican refugees, the Haitian refugees. And these are people of color. Exactly. And so, and the optics just never look good.
Right.
No.
It's
you were about to say something.
I was going to mention what Jen Psaki said. She was asked a question at her daily briefing. Well, are the people that are seeking asylum, namely the Haitian immigrants, do they have their vaccination cards? And I thought, what a ludicrous and tone deaf question that is. And she said, it's not even the same. And she didn't even dignify it with the answer, but I just thought, wow, to have to go through that. I mean, one, she's trying to, I don't want to say spin the story, but she's trying to respond to people's anger and frustration at what they see, and then having to deal with still people saying, well, if you're going to let all these people in, are they vaccinated too? Okay, are you vaccinated? Because if you're not vaccinated, go sit down.
So we all know people who are unvaccinated.
Yes, we do.
And if anyone is like myself, I can get frustrated with, are you serious? Are you serious you're not vaccinated? Why? Really? You'd rather take that chance. I've heard a lot. I've heard the casual, well, I don't know. It's just not my time yet. I've heard, I don't know. I don't want to get stuck. I heard Nicki Minaj cousin friend.
Yes.
If it's even true, a little bit true, I don't want that to happen to me. And I'm like, but if getting sick is a little bit true, you don't want that to happen to you either, right? And we all know that kind of sick. I don't know. I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even know other cases of eating the wrong food and have an allergic reaction. That's 1 in a million chance for that. So what, you gonna not eat oranges? You gonna not eat lemon cake? You're gonna figure something out.
Right.
But as far as this vaccine, where it's a vaccination, almost everybody has the measles and the mumps vaccination. Everybody in this that's living right now has some kind of diphtheria, smallpox, or some kind of vaccination.
Right. So
why this one is such a hard pill to swallow? It, to me, is a hard pill to swallow. So again, I understand it's personal preference, and that's what our freedoms are about. That's what free will is about. That's what God laid free will about on us about. So you can't please all of the people all the time. Can't please half the people all the time. We can go through all those scenarios.
Exactly.
But this thing is such a killer at the moment. I mean, I remember when AIDS, just the thought of it, you know, and it was like, wait a minute, but if you're not having sex, you don't have to worry about AIDS.
Right.
If you're having safe sex, you don't have to worry about AIDS, or you don't have to worry about AIDS so much.
Right.
With this, there is no, you can wear your mask and still catch it. You can get vaccinated and still catch it. Sure, those are possibilities. But wouldn't you rather be safer than sorry? It's just one of those head scratchers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What I find interesting are the people who are COVID deniers who said COVID's not real, and then they catch it and then they die horribly from it. And their last dying breath is,
get the shot.
Get the shot. Believe it is real. I'm here.
I wish I'd have did it.
I wish I would have done it. You know, you have parents, and we've talked about this on previous shows, who have decided, you know what, I don't trust the science. I don't trust this, or I don't necessarily know. So guess what? We're all going to stay in the house. And somebody still catches COVID.
And wipes that family out.
Exactly. Or
and that family's devastated.
Right. Or takes the adults, and then the children are left to grow up in a world alone with no family.
Yep. I mean, I was just watching a news report this morning where a woman on viral videos who was, you know, had fun letting it known that she doesn't believe in masks or the vaccination, and she doesn't even believe that the disease is real. And then she caught it immediately on a ventilator. And then she's on another viral video saying, I wish I did it. I wish I did it. I wish I got the shot. And if you 70%, even 70% sure, get that shot.
That's right.
Well, she died and left her husband and kids. And, you know, now he's on his sad story tour. And it's horrible.
It is.
And, I mean, and it's horrible because it happens. And and then God don't like ugly anyway.
No, God does not like ugly. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, as you said, everybody has a personal freedom. However, if you're not going to get the shot, you need to do everything you can. So if you can, wear a mask, stay out of crowds. Because some of these things that I see, from concerts to football games to different types of events, and I'm just like, COVID is still here. You know, not everybody's vaccinated. So you go and you get a breakthrough infection where you get sick. You may not end up on a ventilator, but you may compromise yourself or somebody around you, which is my issue when we have children. You know, my kids go to school. I've tried to keep them in a bubble, you know, as much as possible. But when they go to school, they're exposed to everybody.
That's right.
And so I have to pray over my children and hope that, you know, everybody there is trying to do the right thing and that this won't get to them. But, you know, it's one of those things you worry about. And for everybody that says that kids really aren't affected, I'm like, have you ever been to a child's funeral? I hear lots of people who say that, and people will say, well, you know, I said, yes, it is. And I said, you should not say that. I said, any person that has to lose their child because they were simply sending them to school.
Just the thought of losing.
Yes. You know, in Georgia, they have I believe it's a 60% increase in cases, and they're all in school. Children. They're all in, that's right. The South, they said the hospital beds are full of children. How, you know, you think about how scary that is, that a child is in the hospital on a ventilator or just in the hospital in intensive care, trying to get the care they need to get over something that they have no control over. You know, they don't have a vaccine for kids.
Wow. I'm getting a little antsy right here because as you're saying that, another part of the dilemma is that insurance companies they're not covering COVID.
Yes, I've heard that.
You have the opportunity to go and get a vaccine. You decide not to take it. you catch the disease, and then now you expect your insurance company to cover it? What is the insurance company just saying no?
Right.
And so not only is there no hospital beds, there's no hospital costs covered. So those who do go into the hospital and survive are going to get slapped with big hospital bills.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Now you take that into consideration. Now you get many of these health workers who amongst themselves are refusing to be vaccinated. Or refusing to be told to vaccinate, or refusing to be mandated. And see, sometimes it's just the sheer fact of, well, I was going to do it anyway, but since you told me to do it, I'm not going to do it. I mean, there's a lot of people who feel like that. Like, well, and you know, just because you said do it, I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be defiant. I'm going to be defiant. I'm going to deviate from everything you tell me to do because I'm a rebel. I'm the rebel.
And who does that, Mr. Harp? Who does that? Who does that? 2-year-olds do that. When you tell a 2-year-old, you're like, okay, I want you to sit down and we're going to do something. No. And they plant their feet and fold their arms and they're like, no. But you know, it's because that's why we call it the terrible twos. They're trying to figure things out. But here we have adults practicing those same behaviors.
So I'm not going to do it because you told me to. And because you're the government and you tell me to do things, I'm not going to do it. And we get into this stance and it's like against your own well-being, you're just not going to do it simply because someone told you to. And, you know, that's not a good way to be.
It really isn't. And so, you know, our country is struggling with so many different things right now. We have a lot of help wanted signs that are out. People are having trouble filling jobs. And then other people are like, COVID is still around. I don't necessarily want to work in person. And I understand.
It's a tough road because you got to, you know, the moratoriums on the evictions, you know, people getting kicked out. And this is real. That landlords need their money. Landlords need their money.
That's right.
They're going to kick people out. And this assistance time is over. You know, so got to keep the economy going. Rich people still don't want to be taxed. So, you know, you get Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who goes out at the Met wearing a dress that says tax the rich. It's a wonderful statement. It's a wonderful magazine moment and a viral moment. Very true. But here we are with the fight again. You know, this goes way deep. You got to go way up the chain of command in order to write laws to make those things trickle down.
Exactly.
You know, we've been trying it for decades. Trying it, you know, for decades to get rich people to pay a more fair share of taxes. And now that you have a few people joyriding to the moon, you know, over this last 2021, you got Bezos, you got Branson from from Europe. Now you got a capsule full of private citizens who all went to the moon and landed safely. This is going to be the new playground. Space is the new playground. And while us common folk and regular folk are going to deal with the troubles on Earth.
Exactly.
You know? not just this COVID disease, but and that's a worldwide thing. We can't forget. It's not just America. This is still all over the world. And you see countries that are going up and down in their response times and variations of the strains of the disease.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're here in America, you got all 50 states who are doing different things, and different governors who are doing different things. And, you know, California is just, I'm so glad that Larry Elder did not make it into California.
Yes, congratulations, Governor Gavin Newsom.
Congratulations to Gavin Newsom. Yes. I mean, listen, this goes way beyond anything skin color. This goes way beyond anything. Oh, this was dangerous. This man was dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Very.
You know, Larry Elder's, his rhetoric is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have many problems going on through the states, and yet we can't figure out which thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I may, just this Texas, the Texas abortion law.
Yes.
With the 6-week ban of no abortions after 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on its face, that doesn't jive well with Roe versus Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 6 weeks is when people start to notice they're pregnant. I mean, you know, like, wow, I missed my period.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later, you still like, is my period coming? Is my period coming? Is my period coming? Then you may go see a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for that, 6 weeks is that's a small window.
Mm-hmm.
And then they turned it into vigilante style. So come on, get your $10,000 just for snitching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you snitch on one person and something happens and you get your $10,000, and now you're turning everybody into potential lottery winners. Everybody wringing their hands trying to get $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
And you know what was crazy is that Uber and Lyft put together a defense fund protecting people against that, because, you know, whether a driver knowingly or unknowingly drives someone was beside the point. They wanted to make sure that drivers were protected. We are simply here to provide a service. We transport people from one place to another place, from point A to point B. Wherever they go, that is their business. And if they happen to end up at a women's clinic where this is what's happening, guess what? We don't have anything to do with that. And, you know, unfortunately, abortion has been around since
the dawn of time.
The dawn of time, exactly. Thank you. There are all kind of herbs and things that women used to use before. They had the modern day methods now to end and terminate pregnancies. My issue has always been the same. Until you address the issue of rape for women, whether it's by someone that she's dating, by a relative, molestation, sexual assault, whether it's she's pregnant and something happens to the baby and they have to terminate the pregnancy because it's just not good for the mother. No one understands this until it happens to them. And women, we go into the doctor's office and literally listen to people tell us, okay, these are all the things that could happen. You do all the things that you're supposed to do, and then something happens. I know someone who was pregnant. The baby died in the womb. The doctor said, you have to come into the office and we have to deliver this child. The baby's dead. There's nothing that we can do. But, you know, this is what we have to do, because you can't continue to have this baby stillborn inside of you. Mm-hmm. And so now, if this is Texas, somebody's going to say, well, that's an abortion, but the baby is already deceased.
It doesn't jive. See, the law doesn't cover everything, and so exactly. there would be so many contestable areas or areas that would have to be litigated in court. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that was surprising is that the Supreme Court didn't step in at all,
right?
Knowing that this is it's going to be a federal issue. Mm-hmm. Because if you let a big state like Texas do it, then you're going to let California do it, and you're going to let New York do it. And then all the small states until you get to New Hampshire and Rhode Island are doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a case that's going before the Supreme Court. It's a Mississippi case, and they're calling it a heartbeat case. I forget it. the exact name of the case, but they are saying that this will be a direct challenge to Roe v. Wade. And it's sort of based off of what's happening in Texas. So it's going to be interesting to keep watching this. You know, women, people of color, just anybody who is an other is struggling right now. And, you know, it's hard. And so speaking of, because we got to talk about fitness, because we can go on and on and on and talk about our current topics. But it is fall.
Yes.
And we know that COVID is still here. We know that flu season is coming. Everybody is urging the general public, all the experts, same people are saying, get your flu shot, because the flu, you know, last year, and it was funny because a friend of mine said, well, Kim, you know, the incidence of flu is down, flu and colds. And I said, you know, this is the first winter I haven't, right. I said, this is the first winter that I haven't been sick in a long while. And she said, because we're all indoors and we're all wearing masks and we're not around each other. We're not congregating together. And I said, you're right. I said, because normally, you know, you pick it up from wherever you pick it up. So this year, as we try to maintain some signs of normalcy by interacting with one another, those things are going to come back again. And so, you know, we know that fitness is important. So first, Mr. Harp, tell us why we need to establish a fitness routine, and then what are the benefits of having a fitness routine?
Well, answer to your first question, why? Health.
Mm-hmm.
Health and longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fitness is important. It shouldn't just be seasonal. It shouldn't just be on the times you can get outside in the spring and the summer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a year-round thing, and a commitment to it is a lifetime. And the benefits are just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we should exercise and we should maintain physical fitness. As we change into the different seasons, especially here in Michigan, where you and I are, mm-hmm. we get 4 seasons.
Right.
4 seasons. So as we're moving into the fall, the weather drops a little bit. It's still outdoors time. So for those that can get outside, use it. Walk. Utilize this time and find a good path and watch those leaves fall and watch those things. And, you know, those in relationships with families, walk together. Mm-hmm. Get out there and walk together and turn it into a family affair. Because of, you know, family that's, you know, that's healthy together. Mm-hmm. You know, the true benefits, you know, all on one page. Mm-hmm. But those benefits, you know, those are some of the things we can do. Mm-hmm. Staying fit by walking outside. For those that can use a gym, I know that these are times where being inside, it's not always preferable. Inside a gym, you know, wearing a mask is possible, but it's not always feasible. Mm-hmm. You know, from the, you know, the way you're breathing and sweating and what have you. But it's definitely doable. And there's many things to do in the gym. You know, many gyms have pools. Many gyms have areas where you can spread out. Mm-hmm. That they're not the big boxes that some gyms are, where everything's right on top of each other. And you have 1,000 people in a 200 square foot. Doesn't always work. So I say we have to do what's best. And it's an individual thing. However, fitness, you can do it at home. You can do it at home in front of a television. We still have DVDs we could pop in. We still have in front of our computer screens and tablets, we have workouts that we can download and stream. And we can find a space in 30 minutes and let's do it. Mm-hmm. You know, clear a little floor space, clear a little space in front of the television and march and stretch and do a few exercises. And no one's watching, so go ahead and do it. There's no excuse for it. And again, use it to the best of our abilities. So if we have those those small children, hey, let's all get up there and march in front of the television. Turn on that phone and pretend that I'm going to make a TikTok video, or make a TikTok video, make a YouTube video, make some kind of video, and share your experiences about what you're doing and your journey. And if you're doing it with children, and watch how those children grow up saying, wow, I've been exercising for this long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Exercise becomes second nature.
Mm-hmm.
Physical fitness becomes second nature. It doesn't even get called exercise. It doesn't get called hard work. It doesn't get called things like, oh my God. It's just one of those, come on, let's go do it. It becomes one of those, second nature. Come on, let's get up. Let's go do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see everybody, with that kind of energy, with that kind of gumption. And take it into as far as you can take it. So, unfortunately, COVID has a way of snatching you away. Okay, COVID, or as you said, COVID. There are a few things in our lifetimes that have the ability and the power to just take us away.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not wait on it. Let's not wait on them. Let's keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep moving, and let's try to avoid some heart disease. Let's try to avoid some of these liver diseases and some of these diseases that come from complacency, mm-hmm. from sitting too much, from not moving around, where we can get the circulation going on through our legs, and some of these vein situations. And
mm-hmm.
I'm not the doctor for all of those situations, as you know. However, physical fitness is a great way to keep some of these problems away.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever your physical ability, I hope that you and whoever's watching, listening, is able to find that balance and find what that is, and to put it to their best ability, and so that they can extend their lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because that is very important. What is the key to establishing a fitness routine? Because some people will say, my schedule is all over the place. Maybe on a Thursday I can, but on Monday I have this, on Tuesday, my morning is free, but I have to do this. And, the only day I really have is on Saturday, but I like to sleep on Saturday morning. So, how do you establish that fitness routine?
Well, dedication. Mm-hmm. Dedication is the word. Many of us have the best intents, but then we let life get in the way. Mm-hmm. We have the best intents, but we let other things get in the way. And routine, the word routine, we have to establish a routine. It's more comfortable to stay where I am than to get up and move into a new place. Mm-hmm. And that's the mentality. But with working out, it's going to be a little rough. You're going to have your up days and your down days. You're going to have your good days and your bad days. Mm-hmm. But we all have good days and bad days anyway. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be some times where working out is going to take you out of the space of that last space you were in, mm-hmm. and make you feel better. Mm-hmm. There's times where working out is going to give you that confidence to know that no matter what comes, you can handle it. Mm-hmm. Because you've been getting up at a certain time, or making sure that you go to the gym right after work, mm-hmm. or right before bedtime, mm-hmm. or whatever that time is that works best. You go in and you dedicate that little 30 minutes, that 45 minutes, that hour, whatever it might be, to that particular, whether it's weights, whether it's cardio and aerobic activity, whether it's low impact, swimming, walking, whatever it might be, start with day 1, then start with day 2. Then go ahead and put day 3 in and day 4. Just look into those first 7 days. Once you put those first 7 days in, day 8 gets a little simpler.
Yes, it does.
But put 1 through 7. Go ahead and dedicate 1 through 7 and make sure you get 7 days. That's 1 week. Mm-hmm. You know, and let's see what happens. And that test that's coming up next Tuesday doesn't seem so hard. Mm-hmm. That deadline for something that's coming up next week doesn't seem so unattainable. The person that's been giving you a few problems in the lunchroom, or the person that keeps coming to your cubicle and just won't leave you alone, you know, you start to see things a little differently. You start to find a little patience and a little zen.
Yes, you do. Let's build some really good habits. And you know what they say about habits? What is it? 21 days for a habit. That if you do something repeatedly for 21 days, it will become
a habit. Mm-hmm. It become a habit. And I just say start with the first 7. Mm-hmm. Start with the first 7 and then do the next 7. Mm-hmm. Break it up. You know, to say 21 days, sometimes is too big of a bite to chew. Mm-hmm. By day 2, people are saying, nah, 21 is a little too much. You know, but if you break it up into 7, listen, I can do this. I can do this Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. And just get through the next week. Mm-hmm. You know, and as once you do that, okay, good, I did that. A little sense of accomplishment. And then you put in that little one next to that one, next to that one, next to that one, and all of these accomplishments start to pile up. And that confidence starts to pile up. Mm-hmm. And that, oh my goodness, when I first started, I could barely move 20 pounds. Now look at me. Mm-hmm. Now look at me. Mm-hmm. And I have clients all the time. I have a young lady right now that I'm working with, and she shared with me just yesterday what some of her previous mind state was, and some of the reactions that she was getting because of her physical stature. She would walk with her head down, but now that she's working out and been on a little program that I've had her on, she's feeling a lot better about what she's doing and where she's going with it. And so now she's walking with her head up. She's getting compliments from family members. She's getting compliments from people who are noticing that she's doing a little something. Like, what are you doing? And she says it's just a little something, but it's huge because these are little confidence boosters. You know, people are seeing her like she never saw herself. And she started to cry. And I just looked at her and I said, this is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
You know, go ahead, let it out, because these are the days you're going to remember. You know, you're going to remember the day when you made that life change or recognized that life change. You made a decision. And sometimes it's hard to stick with that decision until someone else comes and says, hey, you're doing the right thing. And you get a support system. And the next thing you know, we're moving on.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, this is the way it goes. And then you start to find a little more avenues. And guess what? There's more information. You can read about it. You can meet people who are doing the same thing. And now it becomes a community. And now it becomes I'm not this alone. And now it becomes a hold your head up high, because there are a group of us who are like-minded, who feel the same way, who look at exercise the same way. What you doing tonight? Yeah, why don't you get your family and then get my family, and let's go ahead and meet up at the place. You know, these days are coming again.
Yes, they are.
You know, I bring your boys, I'll bring my boys, and we're gonna go out and we're gonna ride bikes. And I know this from experience because you and I did it.
Yes, we did.
You know, you and I did it with our children.
Right.
You know, we get out and ride bikes, and so it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It is. And what a great way to end our interview, Mr. Harp. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us and talking to us about fitness routines and what we need to do. Now, before we go, tell us how we can find you, where you are on all your social media links.
Well, erichaRp9@gmail.com, ESQ360. You can find me at Facebook, Twitter, as well as Instagram, ESQ360. But with that, I am so glad and honored, as always, to be in your midst and in your presence. You know I love you. So we're going to keep this up. And for all the people that this reaches, and I wish them the best. Peace and prosperity. But please, get this vaccination. Please, there is no reason why we all can't make this disease go away.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's right. And you know, I love you too, Mr. Harp. Thank you so much for always being here, giving us so much good information. We hope to see you next month with another exciting topic.
All right. Thank you. And until then, we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Kim B. Davis Show. You know that you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, and anywhere else there, social media. And Kimberly Bachelor Davis. Bachelor is spelled BATCHELOR. You can see this show at youtube.com/Kimberly Bachelor Davis. You can also listen to this show on Apple, Spotify, Google, and Stitcher. And you can find out more about me as an author at kimbdavis.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you'll tune in for our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.